Hi, this is Mimi from Mimi's Paper Crafting. Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we are working on Roxy's weekly challenge. I love her challenges, and this is the first one that I'm actually doing, and it's the vellum mini ephemera. And I absolutely love any kind of project that uses vellum. Now, I have patterned vellum. It's the only vellum I have. I keep finding these packs of Nina vellum at Ollie's for like super cheap. I think I got it for like less than $1 for these packs of vellum. That's the only vellum I actually have. So we're going to tear it down a little bit smaller so it's not as big. And I'm just following along with what she did for the most part. There are two differences. First of all, she stamps on hers. Mine's printed. Since mine was printed, I didn't bother stamping. I could have, but I figured it was already decorated on the vellum, so there was no reason to actually stamp on it. The second difference is I don't have one of those fancy stapleless staplers. Fun fact, before I started editing this video and doing the voiceover, I actually bought one. Oh, God. I was on this whole, I'm not going to spend anything for a few months this year on paper, on crafting items. And yeah, I blew that out of the water immediately. It's fine. It is what it is. We all want this stuff. So I'm just folding these up. I just estimated. She did too. I'm not baking anything. I don't need to follow the recipe exactly. That's my thoughts on paper crafting. The only time anything needs to be specific sized is when you're making mats and stuff like that. When you're just playing around, I don't think things need to be a specific size. We're just having fun here. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to staple the edges down because, like I said, I will have one of those fancy stapleless staplers in a few days, but when I was making this video, I did not. And I'll be honest, it doesn't really bother me having the staples there. I think it gives it a nice pop of color. Okay, like you see, this is the We Are Memory Keepers, We Are Makers one, and it comes with a box of staples when you buy it. And I still have, by the way, I've used this so many times and I still have a ton of staples, but they're all colored staples, which I think is really nice. That way you get a nice pop of color on your project. And I like to use it a lot for a lot of different things. So what was in there was pink. So it already had pink staples in it. And I'm just burnishing everything down to make sure that we have a nice crease. And yeah, from there we will start adding the papers and decorations to the front. Like I said, she did at this point stamp. She had plain vellum. I don't, so I'm just letting it ride. This is my stamp, sorry about that, my scrap basket. Anytime I have any scraps of paper, they go in here, and I try to pull from my scraps before I pull from anything else, especially when I'm doing this kind of project and my scraps are getting out of control. So hopefully I can start going through them and using them up because they're just, as you can see, look, it's just crazy. I still have Christmas scraps in there. I should really go through it. So I'm pulling out some book pages and anything else I see that I might want to decorate with. So yeah, I'm just going through and looking for I think at this point I was looking for decorations that I wanted to use. I pull this stuff out. I don't end up using it. I do end up pulling something else out, and when we get to it, I will talk about it. And what I end up pulling out, I am so much happier with than what I originally pulled out. So there's that. So now it's time to decorate, and I just start with a book page. This book, it's so funny, is actually a Patricia Cornwell book. I bought it used, and the pages were so perfectly yellowed and aged, I bought another copy so I could use the perfectly aged book pages in crafting. Yes, I did do that. Look at how perfect they are. That's just how I got it. So I'm just using my glue stick. This is the Scotch Create glue stick. I have been trying out all different kinds of glue sticks to see which one I like the best. And I'm going to be honest with you, I'm really enjoying the Scotch Create. I think it works very well. And I also have been using the Tombow, and that one works really well. The next one I'll be using is the Avery to see how much I like that one. Now, if I like the Avery, that's what I'll go with because it is the cheapest. So I'm just going to work on gluing everything down. I'm going to tell you that I hate doing voiceovers. At least if I was recording while doing this, I could ramble about stuff. I feel weird rambling about what's going on in my life when I'm doing a voiceover. Does anybody else feel that way? It's weird. I'm only making 4 of these. I have been on a mass making, pre-making thing kick. And I don't know what's going on with me. I never actually use any of it. But I have so many like little pouches filled with pre-made stuff, and I keep actually forgetting to use it. So hopefully I'll start using it in my journaling, which is why I have it, and I just keep forgetting. Can somebody just remind me next time I'm journaling? I should put a sticky note on my computer so I can see it when I start to journal. Okay, now that I have all the book pages down, I am going to start looking for another piece of something to go on here. Now, she had 3 pieces on the front. She had, okay, we'll say she had 6 main items for this challenge. It was the folded vellum is the main item. Then she did stamping. Then she put down book pages and then little accent papers. So that's 3 and 4. And then 5, she put ephemera. And 6, you'll see at the end, she punched holes and put twine or string through to hold it closed. Those were the main elements of this challenge, this project. I follow along almost exactly. Her ephemera, I'm telling you, I need some, and I would have bought some to print out, but if you watched my journal with me video, you would have found out that I am printerless right now. My printer stopped working, so I couldn't print anything out that I was planning on printing out. So I had to go with what I had available to use. And like I said, I'm trying to use up my scraps, so I used almost everything from my scrap basket. This paper right here that I have, that I am gluing down right now, this is from a reproduction Sears and Roebuck catalog from 1892. If you do not have a real Sears and you cannot, because they're expensive, I will link it below. Go on Amazon and get yourself one. I will link it in in my favorite crafty items in my storefront. Love it. You can rip out the pages and even coffee dye them. Great. And this is the ephemera I'm using that I was going to talk to you about. I made a project a few months ago that was these embroidery hoops tag album. Now, when I make a project for certain things, like I made this for TikTok and then didn't plan on selling it or anything. I just made it and I wasn't going to use it. It was just a project to make to have content. I took it apart and put it in my scrap bin because the pages make great embellishments. So that's what I am using here. I'm using the second in row of sizes. I believe there's one smaller yet, and that's what I'm using. Everything was already decorated, already ready to go, and I feel like it was perfect for this project, and it brought in some much needed texture and color. That's how I felt about this. So we're just going to add those and then go on from there. So once this is done, I will pull out my crocodile and punch some holes. And here I am trying to decide which one I wanted. Yep. Which side do I want? I have a feeling that I picked the wrong size. Since I record with a webcam currently, and since I record with a webcam, I have my computer open, and when I was flipping it back and forth, I was looking at the computer screen. But where I have my computer sitting, so it's not in the way, my laptop, there's a glare. And now that I'm looking at it, I kind of wish I would have picked the floral side. Oh well, that kind of stuff happens. Okay, so now we are going to punch, I don't know what size, if she used the 1/8 or the 3/16. I'm using the 3/16 because I know for a fact that I do not, when I was doing this, that I do not have twine that will match these little ephemera folders. I knew that going in. So I need to use ribbon. And because I'm using ribbon, I use the 3/16. If you see me swiping off, I actually have the We Are Makers little garbage can that clips to the side of your desk in front of me. Because now that I have the desk, it's the only place I can put it. So it's in the front, off to the side, and that's where I'm sweeping things into that little garbage can. It actually works perfectly. If you have a desk and you need a little garbage can, I will link that also down below. It's a great little garbage can, and it works perfectly. And it holds a good amount. I actually got it from my mother-in-law for my birthday, and it was honestly one of my favorite gifts. Okay, so here we are, just running the ribbon through. I went with pink ribbon with white polka dots. And once again, it gives it that much needed pop of color. I love vintage. I love the look of vintage. It's great, but I also love color. I'm not, though, a pastel color person. I would rather have darker colors. But when I do a project like this, since I added those embroidery hoop ephemera pieces, I wanted to go with a nice pop of pink. I could have went with black. I could have went with white, but I really wanted to go with that nice pop of pink. So here we are. We're just finishing up, and I want to say thank you for watching today. Comment down below if you also do the Roxy's Weekly Challenge, and I appreciate you stopping by. Please like and subscribe